It is a beautiful May morning, and it's time to share with you the first garden tour video for 2023 and the month of May. So join me as I share with you my garden and how the homestead's going so far. Anyway, these are my daughter Katie's. She is 9 years old, I think. I'm not very good with ages. I still have to ask my kids how old I am. I think she's 9 years old. But she had really wanted to try and grow several tomatoes and pepper plants and try to sell them. A lot of the tomatoes have come up and they're doing well. Almost, there is no pepper that came up. So not sure what the deal is with that. But tomatoes are doing really, really well. They were a slow start because we did not have any grow lights, and that I think was a huge part of it. So by the time we took it out and used like the sun and natural resources, it was probably too late for the peppers, but lesson learned. This is a project for this year. It's to try and rebuild our grass. The dew is wet and it just feels so good on your feet. These are the peas that I planted in early March. And they just came up when they were ready. Some of them, when we were planting, had already been coming up from last year. And these cattle fencing, my husband has picked up on the side of the road and then just kind of made a little barrier for them. These are the raspberries we planted last year, and I was watching a raspberry care video on a man that does these luscious raspberries, and he cuts them to the ground every year. I did not know that was even a thing. Nothing I had seen said anything about that. So if you guys know anything about that, I would love to hear more. This is my lilac bush, and I think it's going to be the year we get some lilacs. Look at that gorgeousness. So very excited about that. I've been building up this bed. My husband had a vision of seeing flowers here that kind of welcome people in, and so I've been trying to find flowers that need minimal care and can really thrive, because this is going to get full sun all day. So we'll see how well that goes. Likewise with this. The pansies did not do well. So pansies are definitely more of a shade flower for me out here, I am assuming. Here's my other lilac bush. Look how gorgeous that one is. He's just so happy. So around this tree is where I did my kind of three sisters, if you will, experiment, where I did black beans growing up, zucchini growing out, and beets growing down. And I'm going to give this, to really do that, I think right here, you have to build it up so much. And this is a tree that got struck by lightning. So it's a kind of unique tree. It's doing all right, but it definitely is very sad looking, and we're thinking about replacing it with a fruit tree, possibly. I'm still trying to convince hubby to do a fruit tree, but we'll see. And I don't want to disturb the ground. I just kind of want to rebuild it in the best way that I can. This is my newest bed. There is, you can definitely tell this is a compost bed because there is so much volunteer, some kind of squash, melon plants everywhere. Along this side, I have lettuce planted, and I think I see a couple of them popping up. Along this back, I have, what do I have? Beets. I have beets going along, and then I think I have a couple rows of green beans in here. But look at all of this volunteer squash. This is the kale that winterized. So I planted this last fall, and it's been pretty much feeding the bunny. And they are a brassica. So they have the flowering like broccoli and all that stuff. So we'll see all the I have big plans for here, but we'll see what actually gets accomplished. That's going to be the big thing. There's some marigolds in here. There is some celery. This is more what I'm trying to build up as an herbal bed, and my kids love to put the flowers in here, and I'm really enjoying the flowers as well. So we got some. This is yarrow from last year that came back. This gets more shade, and these pansies are doing so well. This is oregano that I planted last year that came back. The rosemary has died off and has jumped the cliff. I can't find it anywhere, which surprises me because in past rosemary was something I could not kill. So it didn't like the soil or whatever I was doing to it. But the oregano is happy. That came back. Something else came back, and I'm not sure where I see that. Oh, I think it's still over here. So we have some flowers. I believe these are the purple flower that I love so much and can't think of it. Violets. These are volunteer violets. I just let them stay because I love violets. Then we have some flowers. This is something I need to take out. It has leaves very similar to the strawberry, but it is not a strawberry. These here. Okay, phone call. Back at it. These are the things that we're really excited about adding to the garden this year, which is kind of weird and nerdy of us, but this is called the Galaxy Petunia. So it has like this star look to it. And then these are black petunias, and they are just gorgeous. They are a beautiful petunia. So this came up from last year. Not entirely sure what that is. I will once it blooms. The lemon balm came up from last year, and it's doing so well. It's thriving. This also came up from last year. Do I remember what it is? No, I do not. Lots of weeds, but honestly, I just try to do chop and drop. These are knot weeds. There's so many of these, and they're called knot weeds because they look like a bunch of little knots along the stem. So, according to my very anyway, I can get it, but I can't do it through the camera. But this is apparently a purple sage. So I think I don't recall planting that. I believe that is a volunteer. And we have a robin up there who is building a nest. They have the gorgeous eggs. Oh, in this bed, we have a lot more of these greens. This one will end up being filled with volunteer nasturtium, so that comes back every year. We have another, what is this? I just showed you, petunia, and that's going to come back. This is my rhubarb. I need to get that planted. I was kind of having a conversation with the kids because a lot of this, unless they like to just kind of pick up and eat, and this is like, you don't just eat rhubarb leaves. So I wanted to make sure that I had a conversation, and that's one reason why I haven't been planted yet. One more time. Okay, back at it. These are cilantro, and I feel really accomplished this year because I got cilantro to grow from seed. This has been many, many years in the making. I was trying to get cilantro to grow since my oldest daughter, who will be 16, was a baby, and I've not succeeded. So, I started it really, really early. So this was one of the very first things that I planted early March, and I figured they'll come up when they're ready, and I planted a bunch of them together, which, it doesn't feel right. It feels like you should spread them out and make little rows and whatever. No, this is actually something I learned, that herbs love to be together. So that's what I did, and that's what's going on here. But this was not going to be enough for my family. So there are 2 pots of it, and I'm so excited. These are basil. These are purple opal. basil that I planted just a few days ago, and look, they're already coming up and they're happy. So that's going to be fantastic. Okay, let's go around to the back. Alright, here is my outdoor garden. I'm out of potting soil and I'm trying to get compost in it, but this is a sugar bee balm. So there's that. Woo! My wind chimes. These are things that are probably gone forever, except the raspberries. They are going to hold on by sheer willpower. But like a blueberry was gone, and these I was using for strawberries, and I still have plans to do that. And then my sister's going to take them for her patio garden that she has going at the apartments. This is the compost, and it's going really, really well. It's very happy right now, and there's a bunch of volunteer stuff coming up right now. Also a bunch of sunflowers, which makes me so excited, because a dream that I had was to turn this whole back part here to kind of separate me from the neighbors. I really wanted it to be, tell me it's farming season without telling me it's farming season. I really wanted this to be like a hedge of sunflowers, and I think that's just what I'm going to do. Instead of trying to plant them, because it's not working, I'm just going to drop seeds along here when the season is over, and just let them winterize and settle in whatever way they want to. Here are more peas. This is the project my husband has for this weekend, is to put another cattle fence up here like he did back there. These are some green onions that my younger son planted. I'm not sure how he got that, but he did. That's going great. And then we have a volunteer lettuce here. This bed doesn't have anything in it. I really need to rebuild this bed. I put a whole bunch of stuff in it over the winter, like leaves and compost and grass clippings. But I really don't want this grass in there, so I'm going to go in and kind of get it out and do something with that. These are the strawberries. I've been cleaning out my bed here, and these are the strawberries that are being transplanted. This is the mess bed. So this little patch right here, just to weed that and get that cleaned up, took me over an hour. And I have to kind of do that throughout this whole thing. So the hen bit just took over this, and it's gone crazy. And then the raspberries here, I have a mama at church that's going to take these. They're doing really well. That would also be a really good hedge here, but my husband doesn't want to. That's fine. But that's if it was up to me, that's probably what I would have done with it. Since when I couldn't get the sunflowers to go, that's probably what I would have done with it, but I couldn't. And so they went there. This bed is just like something I've really been working on. This is another similar bed that's got a bunch of raspberries in it. Raspberries just take over once they're let loose. And the strawberries here are just doing so beautifully. This one's just so compacted. I don't think the strawberries are getting what they need, so I got to work on that. That's kind of why I'm really focusing on that bed. These are my green onions that are so thick. They're almost too thick to use at this point. They're just, I would use them more as a regular onion than a green onion, but they are going to seed. This is the bed that my sons, they like to do their whole garden. They had that one last year. This year they chose this one. My older son has been working with the farmer, and the farmer gave him some seed corn, and he really wanted to plant that, so he planted seed corn in here, and it was not coming up. It was almost 3 weeks and not coming up. And so I was like, hey, can we get some green beans in here? Because if the green beans come up, it's going to be fine. Green beans can grow with the corn. That's what the Native Americans used to do. It'll be fine. So he did that, and then the corn came up. So We'll see how this bed goes. This is definitely our experiment bed, learning something and having fun with it. Another strawberry and raspberry bed, and this is the one that I really worked on last year. And you can't even tell that I really worked on this one. Like, I weeded it, I put a whole bunch of mulch on it and compost, and yeah, it's already like, wait, the weeds again take over. This grass is just so invasive. But yeah, and I believe this is some kind of dock. And then this is, you got a big one. This is the garlic bed. When I planted it, and in the September, when it started coming up, this whole thing was covered. This whole thing was covered in September with the garlic. And then over the winter, like, half my bed died. I'm not sure what happened. Very bizarre, but half my bed died during the winter. It was very, very disappointing, but I'll take what I can get. I have a fern that was one of those, that was probably not the best idea that I could have made. And then this is the other bed that we're building up. So this is the one that I was hoping to turn into the strawberry bed last year, the strawberry and asparagus, and that has not happened. But we have sunflowers coming up, the mint came back, I've got my blueberry bushes here, and we've been working on the strawberries here. However, the rain never hits here, so this is definitely one that I have to remember that even when it rains, I have to come in and water this, because water does not hit here at all. So, yeah, but that's the first garden tour update of 2023. That's our neighbor's dog. He doesn't like people. In terms of what we're getting planted next, there's beets planted, there's lettuce planted. I really want to get carrots in, but carrots are one of those things that I need to work on making sure that it's moist, and that would be really good for this bed right here. That would just be something that, okay, I come out, I've got kids that do school, that's something that would be a visible reminder to make sure that that stays moist. We'll see if I get to that. It's also been a really crazy few weeks, of course, my life, always. And so I'm trying to decide if I really want to put that time, or if I want to maybe like give it as a project for a kid. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, all of this is stuff that we're working on, and yeah, that's how it is for so far. We've got peas and green beans planted. I will probably not get broccoli in. We have so much in the freezer, and yes, it will get used and get cycled through, but I don't think I want to refill the freezer just yet with that, or eat it fresh. I kind of want to work through what I have in there. So a lot of it is just working on, probably the next month, it's not going to be so much planting as much as it is trying to get this under control and the maintenance going. So thank you for joining me today, and I will see you in the next one.